Alright, so today I'm going to tie a sex dungeon. Alright, so we're starting with a Daiichi 2461 number 2 straight eye streamer hook. And then I have white GSP thread. We're going to do the exact length of the shank. Tie it in. Wrap it all the way up. And trim off the excess. Alright. We're going to take our schlappen, grab it by the point, and pull all the feather back. We're just going to tie in that point. Now that that's tied in, we're going to take white or pearl diamond braid, tie it in right at the back, and bring our thread all the way forward. We're going to take our diamond braid and we're going to slowly wrap, one wrap after the other, so they're just touching edges. Don't want to pull it too tight or it'll get really skinny and low profile. Bring it all the way to the eye and tie it off. Then we're going to take our schlappen and palmer it all the way to the front, pulling the feathers back as we palmer it to keep it nice and clean. Give a nice full body to our fly. Go ahead and tie it off once we get to the front. And then trim off the excess. Alright, I'm going to get a couple pieces of crystal flash, lay it down the length of the fly, go ahead and wrap it, fold it over, and tie the other half off. So we have 3 or 4 on each side. You can do this either with crystal flash or flashaboo or rubber legs, whatever you're feeling or whatever your secret is. Go ahead and tie off. And that'll be it for the back half of the fly. And that's what it looks like. It's just a little woolly bugger. Nothing special. We're going to get the exact same hook in. There we go. Get a nice thread base going. I can get my vise to lock. Nice thread base, back and forth a couple times. Very important to have a thread base for what we're going to do next. Especially with this GSP, it's extra slippery. So you need something to grab onto. So next we're going to take a piece of, this is toothy critter wire. It's just, you can use backing, you can use heavy mono. I like this craft wire, toothy critter wire, whatever you have. I like it a little bit better. Oops. And we're going to wrap it in right in the middle of the shanks where we're going to start. And then we're going to wrap all the way to the back. Wrap all the way forward. And then go all the way back again. And then now we are going to take our rear fly, thread it through, give it a nice little loop, and then tie it off. Kind of start wrapping it back in. Now you can do beads here. You can put some sort of spacer there. Especially if you're going to use backing, you need something to kind of keep it straight and taut. The reason I like this craft wire is because it really holds that shape, and it doesn't really get tied up as much and tangled up as much as the other materials would. The only problem with it is it's slippery. So one trick that I do is this. I like to fold it back after we've wrapped it up. That's why we leave a little bit of space, and then we tie it back down. And what that does is that kind of gives us a little safety there so it won't come untied. And wrap that down, kind of making a little smooth spot with your thread. And then we're going to bring all the way to the front, and we are going to tie in our dumbbell eyes. You can use whatever size dumbbell eyes you'd like. The heavier, the deeper it'll go. These are really just to counteract the deer hair that we're going to put in later. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to leave a little bit of space at the front of the hook here, because we're going to try and put deer hair in front of these eyes. So I'll leave a little bit of space. Wrap it in. Some crisscrossing. Another problem with this GXP, this gel spun thread, is it really likes to be slippery. But once you get material in there, it'll hold tight. It's good enough base. I'm going to bring it all the way back to the back of the thread again. Alright, so now what we're going to do is pretty much just recreate the tail fly in a little bit shorter profile. So I got a piece of marabou again. This time I'm going to pull all the fat, clumpy ends off. So I have a nice fluffy plume here, and then I'm going to take the tip where there's this square spot at the tip, and I'm going to cut that off. So we have the nice fluffy spots of our marabou left. We're going to take that, pull it nice and tight, get it ready to tie in, and we're going to go about the same length as our hook shank again. This one can be a little bit shorter because all we're trying to do is blend the body from the first half of the fly to the second half. And then go ahead, and I like to wrap a little bit in to give it a little bit more body underneath, and then go ahead and trim. And then now we're going to add our schlappen. Grab it by the tip, pull the feathers back, tie it in. Once that's done, we can take our pearl diamond braid and tie that in. And then go ahead and bring your thread all the way to almost to your eyes up there. So we're going to palmer this diamond braid, and again we want to keep it kind of loose. Don't want to pull too tight, then we kind of lose our profile. Give it a little bit of wiggle room there, and then slowly wrap to the front, with each wrap just touching the last one. And then go ahead and tie it off. We want to leave a little bit of space for our head. Go ahead and wrap your schlappen forward. The worst part about tying articulated flies is trying not to hook yourself with the back fly hanging back there. You always seem to end up grabbing that hook on accident. Alright, as you can see, I left a little bit of space between, a little bit of space here. I left about maybe a 1/4 inch of space between the front of my dumbbells and the back of the dumbbells, and that is going to be for the deer hair head. First, we're going to put a little bit of flash in there. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Now is where it gets tricky. To this point, it's pretty basic. There's not too much crazy stuff going on. Deer hair, everybody's weak spot. Alright, so I just have white deer hair belly here. Nothing too fancy. I'm going to cut a pretty decent sized clump. Pretty good sized chunk. And this is going to go on top. We're going to go one pretty big clump on top, one pretty big clump on bottom, and then we're going to do one more big one on the front of the eyes on top. So we're going to get it lined up, and then what I do is I do 1, 2 loose, and then pull tight. And what that does is that helps me stop it from spinning around too much and getting too out of control. And then I'm going to pull my deer hair forward, wrap it around, and flip it upside down, get ready to do the bottom. So now if you have a hair packer, a lot of people like to use them. For this part, I am not too worried about how pretty the tips line up. So I usually just go in with a natural look. 1, 2, pull it tight. Pull all the deer hair back. Give it a couple of wraps. Now if you can see, I left some space to do one more clump of deer hair on the front. You can do one on the bottom, but you're just gonna trim it off. So it's only gonna please you for a minute. If you really want to go for it, just to trim it up, go for it. Line her up once, twice. There we go. That's sticking. Alright, we're gonna pull her hair back. Thumb and forefinger, you're going to push that deer hair back. And you're going to try and get a couple wraps in front. Just to get enough, and then we're going to try and tie it off here. So now this is a very basic stripped down version of this fly. And the reason that I strip it down is because this is all that I tie these, and when I tie them in bulk. I sit down and just tie dozens of them because this is one of my favorite flies for Alaska, and I know I'm going to need a lot in my box. Here, bring that camera nice and tight. I'm going to show you guys how I trim the head. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get a fresh razor blade. You can't really see it, there we go. Fresh razor blade, it helps a lot. Flip it upside down, and I'm going to trim straight across the belly. So there's a nice flat spot right along the bottom of it. And the reason why I do that is because I'm going to put a cone on the top half, kind of an arch shaped, so it dives when you strip it. And now what I'm going to do, take your razor blade, push your fingers together so it bends like that. Now you're going to take that and you're going to slowly slide it up your fly. You're just slowly give it that nice arch on top to give it that diving profile. The trick is to slowly trim, because you can always take off a little more, but you can't add any back. Now I'm going to even out the sides. And I like to give it a nice little collar, and what that does is that pushes the water and makes the tail move, or at least that's what it's supposed to do. And that is our finished fly.